And a warm welcome from my side here from Berlin to our quarterly, this the third quarter meeting here of the Global Design Thinking Alliance. It's a great pleasure to see all of you. There's Matt joining. And we have a kind of dense agenda, and I would love to start as soon as possible. But first, let's hear if Richard, you just back some notes for greeting our community here.
Yeah, hi everyone. I've been away for 3 weeks, so not much to report from D-School in Cape Town, but great to see everybody here. I was actually at a conference. I was at the Design Research Society conference in Boston. An interesting community, actually. First time I've been to that. And I think it's the first time they've held a conference in America. I think generally it's been in Europe. But yeah, it's an interesting community and would certainly recommend next year people going to that. Actually, I bumped into Jean Littke there, of all people. So yeah. But anyway, lovely to be on the line and looking forward to the conversations.
Good. Thank you a lot. So let's start with a short check-in as fast as possible from your side. We prepared a members map again with some post-it notes. So please grab some post-its and put it right next to your location with the latest notes, which you can't share here. But we do a brief sharing here of the latest things. And maybe I start actually with the D-School in Potsdam because Claudia is joining here and she can tell about the latest things at D-School Potsdam.
Thank you. I was not expecting this. Okay, great. So has been also a time that have been joining this meeting. So just to fill you in with the semester start that we have had in April, we have been revisiting our program offers and have been creating on our new vision, crafting tomorrow, imagine, innovate, and impact. I would say revised. Some of them are new versions of our programs. We brought the introductory courses back to their essentials. So it's still a semester-long program that we do call Foundations for Design Thinking, where we are mainly focusing on human-centered approaches. It seems nothing new for you, but for us, it gave us a bit more streamlining of trying to differentiate our program offers between these offers better. So we have a clear focus on product, services, and experience innovation. So it still includes business and societal and social innovations. And instead of having an open advanced program, we have now been replacing this by themes, design thinking studio themes that we bring to life with different program offers for at least a period of 2 to 3 years, with the opportunity to students to hop on, hop off for, let's say, a 2-day sprint, a full semester, or even more offers. And the topics that we are addressing are with 2 programs that we have now kicked off in summer. So this semester, sustainability or design thinking for sustainability. And the second one, open innovation, to address more the questions of how to find the right leverage point for making innovation counts in terms of impact. So the field where we are currently targeting is education. And here you can start on the pupils level, on the teachers level, on the schools level, on the policy level. So that's what we're bringing into play. And we are about to kickstart a third topic that's also very closely connected to the profile of the HPI. That's going to be on digital health and well-being. And we're going to kick off a first prototype in September. So another good reason to join the GDTA conference on site, because in parallel, we're also going to run our workshop that will take place it's a bit longer, it's a 2-week sprint, But so we're going to be in the middle once the conference starts. So it's also maybe nice to sneak into these programs. That's it, a bit in a nutshell of what the program changes have been all about. And I hand it back to Uli.
Thanks, Claudia. And let's move to the ones who are getting up or staying late at night. Nalin is the one, and also Ricardo. Ricardo, are you in Australia or are you right now in Brazil? Brazil,
yeah.
Okay, so then
midday
the
here.
most east is Nalin.
Okay, thanks, Oli. Hi to everybody. The updates on my side, that is like SNS from India, is that we launched the Innovation Hub recently. And we also have a cohort program, a combination of design thinking educator workbook and also app development workbook that we combined and created a design thinking playbook where we will start doing empathy and then end up in development of products. So we identified around like 200 students. Once in every 2 to 3 months, a new cohort will start. And the first cohort we are planning to start the next week. So we also are going to utilize the physical newly established innovation hub, design thinking innovation hub space to create the products using the design thinking playbook that we created. So that is a primary updates from SNS India.
Thanks a lot. Let's move to Raluca now.
Hi, everyone. So for us, we have a team of about 5 volunteers that we have been working with since 2020. And as you might feel, it's almost 4 years now, so they are graduating. So starting in October, we will have to start recruiting new volunteers. And we are also doing a 1 month program, one workshop every month. Actually, just finished it today. It's always on the 10th, where we encourage students, also pupils, to come and explore methods to generate ideas. And the PISA for creativity results in Romania weren't so great, so we are hoping this program will help us change that. And we hope to join the GDTC, the conference in September. Actually, my team leader will also be joining this meeting, but he's just about... He has a collapse with another one, so he'll be about 30 minutes late. Thanks, and I pass it.
Maybe to Chan. Chan, thanks, Raluca. Chan, would you be ready? You are outside somewhere at a nice place.
Sorry, can you hear me? Is it okay for you?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Greetings from Turkey. It's quite hot here. We are now at university. We just finished at May our design thinking course that we were focusing on social innovation and social entrepreneurship. About 20 students just finished it. And in the summertime, there is a kind of an innovation lab that we are opening about learning experience design. Because the new rector we are opening an elective course, but obligatory elective course for design thinking for all universities. It means like 1,000 students per year, per semester. It's going to be open in the February, and now we are trying to create this content with learning experience designers to give all design thinking courses to all the university students actually in the year. Yeah, that's it. I think we are now struggling with that, and also on September I will be there. I hope if I can get to you.
Thanks, Chan, and also congratulations. You made it with, you are a PhD, you are a doctor now, so we can call you Dr. Chan from now on. And let's move to Maria. Maria, you're also late, a little bit later than we are. Yeah?
Yes, but not that late as Nalin.
No.
It's 8 p.m. actually. So we've done the local edition of Jean Litka Experience in Design, and we'll be having a presentation of the local paper edition on July 26th. So I'm trying to find Jean in LinkedIn and an email, but unfortunately I haven't got an answer from her. Maybe some connection failed, and I hope I have a chance to see you here today to ask her to join our presentation of her book. We finished our 13th streams for practitioners and trainers at D-Standard certification program for design thinkers, and even more trainers now and practitioners joining our community. And we also are opening up new postgraduate programs for professionals. And our new program is on future science. So future science and human-centered design all together. And we collaborated with international community of future scientists like Arik Dromi and those who are actively publishing and developing this topic. It's actually trending now, a future science course and a specialization, like new competence. We are also making some programs on customer experience on CX, because CX like a trending topic also, based on design thinking and human-centered design. And we also go into new professions or first professions for teenagers and those who are making first steps at the market, those who are trying to find themselves. And we have a creative entrepreneurship program. First 10 students just finished our new program for teenagers, and they've got a certification like their first profession. So they're very proud, and we are proud of them that they've got this first step, and they would like to do something more. So design thinking was a fundamental for this course. So good news. Thank you for giving the stage.
Thank you, Maria. Really good news. And I would like to hand over to Christian, staying in Europe here. Christian Friedle, are you listening?
Yes, I'm here. I just on the road, so I hope not too noisy. But I hope you can hear me well.
Yeah.
Yep. Just a quick one from our side. We have a master's program on digital entrepreneurship, and we are currently having the admission interviews for the next cohort. And design thinking is a cornerstone methodology in the master's program, and we are, very enthusiastic about starting with a new cohort in this September. I'm also happy that I will take over the program from September, so I will even put in more design thinking elements now that I'm in charge. And other news is that we are doing currently the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor for Austria. It's a global study, and we compare here with 58 nations at the moment on a global level regarding entrepreneurial competencies. And we also take a look with regards to design thinking skills, how we benchmark within Europe, but also beyond. And that's super interesting. We will have the first data, maybe hopefully already for the Potsdam conference. And anyways, I'm also looking forward to the conference and to meet everybody in person there.
Great.
That's it from my side.
Thank you very much. I have to ask either Raika or Richard to just take my role here for some minutes. I have to take care of my dog here. And I would hand over now to, let's say, who's next on the line? Maybe Joanne. Joanne, great that you're joining here. And then please, Richard. All right. I'll be back.
So, greetings from New York. Although I just got off a call with Germany. So, So I guess what's new here, we've been doing, well, I'm actually one person here in New York. We've been working a lot with the UN. Actually, I've been working with Design Thinking and Leadership. Tomorrow, I'm working with the Mandela Fellows, who are from different countries in Africa, working on Design Thinking and Leadership with them. Also, there are a lot of groups coming. We're in the SAP offices in New York, and so SAP has kind of pulled me into some of their groups. We have a group of young men and women from underserved communities who SAP NFTE, I think they're I forget the name of the organization, is really working with them. They're in high school, and they've had a very high percentage of students that are going to college. And many of them come from families that haven't gone to college, and this program has been very important in that. And one of the parts is entrepreneurship, and they're now introducing design thinking into that. And so they've asked me to work with them a little bit on design thinking. And then I've been doing a lot of talks all over the place. And since everybody, I don't know if you have this experience, but a lot of people want design thinking in an hour. And, that's just not possible, right? So what I started to do a couple of years ago was just create this talk that gets people excited about design thinking. And then I send them to HPI in Potsdam. I try to do that. That's my goal. But just to get them excited about it, using a story to get them interested in design thinking and see how it can be used in different areas. And then I tailor the talk to the different groups that I'm talking to. And then they're like, oh, this is great. We could use this. And they see how they could use it in their own organization. And then I say, well, we have this in HPI in Potsdam. And then they hopefully connect with Claudia and Uli and everybody else in Potsdam. So that's another thing that I've started to do. And then I've been doing not a lot, but every once in a while, designing your life workshops. So that's a quick overview. And then we also do a lot. We have two of our professors actually are going to be in New York next week. So we're going to have talks they're going to give talks at the UN. They're going to give talks at American Council on Germany in our offices. I make them do a lot of different talks when they're in New York. And so I'm looking forward to that. So that's a very, very quick overview.
Thanks a lot. I hand it over to my son here, and he's taking care now. So, Richard, Ferhat, Peter, what is up in Cape Town?
Yeah, I've said a little bit already. Peter, do you want to just talk about the things that are happening at Cape Town?
Yeah, I can. Thank you. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Evening to some. So we, in fact, are in the middle of semesters. So our second semester starts towards the end of the month. So for the last month or so, there hasn't been much student programs taking place. But I think we had a very successful, good first semester with our design thinking practice. We had a foundation program running, which was quite successful. And so we're really looking forward to the second semester, where we'll pick up quite a bit with our student programs again. The research lab has been taking great shape with our postdocs, which have joined in, and they really going ahead and doing some research on some of the programs. There's been some great interest from many institutions around the world who looking to collaborate with us on research and programs, which is quite exciting for us. Our African collaboration program is also growing, and that's really showing some great interest on the continent, and we're really proud of the work being done there. And yeah, also looking forward to the GDTA conference in September at Potsdam. Yeah, and that's about that. I don't know if Ferhat, Richard, anything else to add? Thank you.
Hey, thanks. How about Matt? No, we're Linda in London here.
Okay, London School of Economics is starting to catch up in a way that I think Uli and people who have followed with me for a few years know that it's been hard because they wanted me to teach the theory of design thinking and not just jump in and use it. So what we have been doing this year has been fairly exciting, and I think we're going to have an opportunity to really expand. So I plan to talk with you more about this later in terms of some of the arrangements. But what the program that we have at London School of Economics that I've been engaged in for some time has been focused on entrepreneurship, but we've gone more to social innovation. And that became an opportunity where design thinking for field work and so forth was seen to be more effective as well as appropriate. So we have students who have gone to Africa this year, and they had a professor from anthropology with them who led them in the design thinking workshops that they were working with for the communities that they were looking at projects, social innovation projects. So the thing that has been very interesting about that is that for the first time ever, all of the students in the course have had experience with design thinking now. And so it's just taking off in many different directions, and people are eager to listen more about where we can build this in. And we have a whole change in the program being reviewed. And so it's kind of like I'm back here more in a role where I can see some changes in terms of how we do it with the students at LSE. So London School of Economics is in a different position, and I wanted to make sure everyone knew that, because earlier I had people from Stanford as well as from Potsdam who would take part in my program, but it was not as secure as at some institutions. As I say, they wanted me to teach the theory of it. So it took a while to break through to, maybe we could call it, the 21st century.
Thank you very much for the update. And it sounds that sounds promising, actually. Maybe we have a chat later on in the next weeks, how we could support, what we could do. Yeah. To get it more in a rolling phase. Also, maybe in the combination with some business schools here in Germany. Let's move fast forward now to Matt.
Howdy, good morning, evening, afternoon. What did they say in the Truman Show? Good afternoon and good night. So we're Penn State, we're wrapping up for our fall projects. Big events here. We've been engaging a lot more with industry and been doing micro-credentialing and short courses with them, and have seen a lot of activity around that, which has been good. We received a pretty substantial grant from the National Science Foundation to study teams as they go through design thinking kinds of activities, and how we can train students to create and work in psychologically safe spaces. And so that's a thing that we've been working on quite a bit. You'll hear some kind of preliminary work or related work, I guess, here later in the meeting to that we started back at the meeting last year. But other than that, we're just marching along, trying to get projects like usual. Oh, hey, I can't say one fast thing. We're almost a year into our building, and we've trained 3,000 students in here since we first opened. And one thing that we have noticed is all of our outcomes are substantially better. In particular around prototyping, as you would expect, but our sponsor satisfaction, everything is like a step function from where it was. So it turns out that where you have the students do the work and what resources they have available to them does matter. So
sounds good. Space matters, definitely. Who is next here? Jacob. Let's move to Canada.
Yeah, so I'll try to keep it quick. We're kind of just rolling away with our programming. This summer, I have a small course of 30 grad students doing design thinking, looking at innovation through the lens of design thinking projects. They're about 2 weeks away from their facade prototypes and running those with their peers. That's a part of our training of 90 plus kind of grad and undergrad students that we do in upper years. And then we also have design thinking embedded in our first year engineering foundations course, which we're looking at probably close to 950 students coming in September, kind of going through their design projects in engineering through the lens of design thinking as well. Glad to hear Matt's success with the building, because we have a new entrepreneurship building coming up that should be open by the end of the year. And then a new engineering building shortly on the horizon after that. So lots of maker spaces coming.
Great. Thanks a lot. Hoda is joining also, it's great. But let's first move to Isabella.
Thank you, Uli.
Universidad Mayor.
Yes, Universidad Mayor from Chile. Well, I have some big projects that we're working on right now. The first one is we're working with the Food and Agricultural Organization of the UN. We're very proud about that. This is part of an agreement between the two organizations, Universidad Mayor and FAO. And what we're doing is customizing a course which includes design thinking, business model canvas, elevator pitch. And the interesting part is this course is aimed to young people in the agri-food sector in Latin America. So we have, for example, entrepreneurs, community leaders, and people who actually need to learn those tools to excel in their communities, to launch projects, etc. We have a very good energy in this course. Of course, it is online, and we are reaching a very, for example, we have people from Amazons, from very isolated sectors, and I'm glad to say that it is working. And also some of the results of this course are going to be presented in October in the World Food Forum in Rome. So we are looking forward to it. A second project we're going to launch in the second part of this semester, our, I would say, fifth version of our course for faculties. And the idea is to empower faculties with design thinking mindset and process and tools. And this project has another part, which is after the faculties are trained, we work with them, redesigning their lectures, trying to incorporate design thinking to address learning goals. And another project that we're working right now is developing self-placed modules that contain theoretical aspects of design thinking. And the idea is to create economies of scales. So trying to provide different tools in different formats. So for example, students, faculties, and other stakeholders learn this theory, and we just leave the practical part to workshops. We are creating videos, capsules, quizzes, etc. So this is something that is happening right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That sounds good. And how about Sharon in Ecuador? Are you in Europe?
Hi.
Or are you?
Yes. Hi, I'm fine. I'm good. Thank you. I'm happy that I can join because the last spotlights I would love to join, but it was like in 2 a.m. for Ecuador, so I couldn't join some previous spotlights. But it's good that afterwards it's uploaded also in YouTube, I guess. But yeah, I'm fine. Good to see you. From our part in SPOL here in Ecuador, well, as you know, we continue with our design thinking mandatory course that we have for all undergrad students. And this year, every 2 years, we organize something that we call the Deep Thinkers Challenge. Actually, like 2 years ago, we joined this challenge with the one that you organized. I don't know if you remember that one, the Global Design Thinking Challenge also. So our students also joined in a way to that one. This year we are organizing it in a little bit different way because we want them to present the most prominent projects that our students had worked in the previous years. So we will be making a call here in the university so students can propose their previous works when they were in this course. So let's see how that goes this year with this new format. We are also running what we call a diplomado, which is this professional development course for faculty. This year, our program is 100% online, and we have teachers from other countries as well. So we're happy for that because this diplomado, which is like a long course, right? It's with this approach from an educational perspective. And I think that that's a very nice program we have here. In May, I had the opportunity to present in the Design 2024 conference in Croatia, our one paper about actually the title is Understanding the Art of Design Thinking Facilitation, a novel instrument for observing instructional strategies used by facilitators. That is product of a very long work of doing class observations of design thinking classes. And we are working on an upcoming paper about the results of those design thinking instructional strategies that we're trying to map. Basically, it's an exploratory study first, and we're also working, because we already have the data, to present the results that our design thinking course is also improving the entrepreneurial competences using the EntreComp model. I don't know if you have heard about that model. It's a model developed by the European Union. So we use that model and the instrument, and we found that our course also improved those entrepreneurial competences in our students. So that's something we also want to prepare a paper about it. And I think that's probably the main highlights from our side. We are focused a lot on research, as you already know, and I hope, I'm not sure yet I can join the conference this year. I would love to, but since we are a public university, we're having, as every year, some financial problems. So let's see, but if I'm not joining in person, I will try. I mean, I'm definitely joining virtually at least. So yeah, that's all on my side.
Thank you, Sharon. Would be probably nice if you put the posted with the link to the European program you were pointing on, to this kind of format you were talking about put it on the map here. That would be great. And then we have Ricardo. Ricardo, I haven't seen you for a while, and great to see you again here. So with Echoes, how are you doing?
Yeah,
in
not
Brazil?
too bad. Very good, very good. Actually, I've been upgraded. We had a baby, so yeah, 1 year old now. So that's why, that's why we've been like a bit away. I updated my curriculum, as I say. But anyway, lots of news from here. So we've been working new programs, especially one about orchestrating AI. So we've been working on this topic probably last year. And so it's all about working with agentic AI, as we say, like how do we work leading AI through the process of workflows within organizations. We've been developing a new course, our new program on collective intelligence. How do we design collective intelligence networks and so on? So it's a very interesting topic for us, especially working from Brazil. We've been running the design leadership course since 2020, I think, 2021, I think. And we are heading to the season 4, as we say. So it's already close to 500 participants in this course. So all leaders around the globe in terms of design leadership. And yeah, that's it. I think it's pretty much what we've been doing so far. And I'm trying to organize my agenda, my schedule to be with you in Potsdam in September. So hopefully I'll make that happen. So let's see how it goes. Yeah, thanks. Great to be back here and enjoying this beautiful conversation here.
Thanks a lot, Ricardo. Sounds great. Do you still have activities in Australia?
Yeah, pretty much remote, but yes, we still have operations there. Yeah, still running things. Yeah.
Okay. Did I forget any person? Hoda was giving an update here in the chat. I put it on the map already. Thanks a lot, Hoda. I think we can now move to our session about, let me just see, I'm at the wrong board here. I think I hand over to Reika talk about the Spotlight.
Yes.
The next one.
Good to see you. Yes, I will talk about the Spotlights. We had a really nice session this last month with Jenny from D-School Africa, talking about the African Research Collective there. And then in May, we had a Spotlight with Maria Staschenko from Design Thinking Asia. And we had a really nice gaming session that we are using now as a prototype, also to develop a little bit further and see where we can take the format with their gamified way of idea generation. So hopefully we'll have some updates of that in the future. And then I will just briefly share here, so it's all on the board for you also, but usually it's easier if I just put it on the screen for you. This is the next Spotlight coming up. It's Samuel Chepe, who's actually working here in Potsdam at the HPI, and what was Academy is now Professional Development in Design Thinking. And he just published a white paper on AI-enhanced design thinking. So that will come in August 16th. It's a Friday this time, lunchtime. So we hope it will fit most time zones, best we could find. And he will also sort of lead us into then our conference, because that is around AI and design thinking as well. So we're hoping to use this also as a first sort of starting point to get some more people interested from the outside. This is our first, or not the first draft, but the as of now, the artwork for our conference. We have decided to go with something very local because it's based on the Metropolis movie that was actually produced around the corner from us. Yeah, so this is your reminder to mark your calendar and join us, please, please, in September here in Potsdam. It would be awesome to see many, many of you. We already heard from quite a few people who will come, so that is awesome. And of course, we want to share a little bit on what our preliminary agenda is. Uli, do you want to join in as well? Because that is the complete plan for anyone who's a GDTA member. If you're here on site or anywhere in the world, please join us also on the 12th for our annual members meeting. The plan is that we will also have a signing ceremony for the new constitution. There is final discussions today and up until then. And then the 13th, the Friday, is the actual conference day. We have come up with some topics for panel discussions. We will also have Samuel Chepe make an interactive session towards the end of that day, where people can join in. But we're very much looking forward also to all of you, even if you cannot come physically to Potsdam, we will make it hybrid enough. So if there's anything evolving around artificial intelligence, anything you've tried, if it's best practices, immersive stuff, if you have any sort of expertise or someone in your team, please reach out to Uli and me, let us know so we can somehow fit this into an exciting agenda for the conference, since it's the GDTA conference. So we really want to showcase all of us, right? Yeah, that's the call right there.
And I think it's important what we are trying to put together is a conference with some external input. Yes, we have some speakers already, confirmed, and we have some specific AI input also from professors from HPI, AI professors, but we want to encourage the discussion about the usage of AI. And maybe, Ricardo, if you have done a lot of things, it might be interesting from your side also to actively participate. I think so we want to have it as interactive as possible. We will have some interesting things going on and to test for those who are not in touch too much with with the AI, design thinking you're all, but then you can try out things, but the discussion about it is very, very valuable. And so after the 13th, the 12th and the 13th, we all do in a hybrid mode, so you can participate also digital, but we encourage you to come. And the 14th will be a pure analog thing. We do a safari visiting different spaces, different places, companies, organizations in the area of Potsdam and Berlin, mostly Berlin, which are dealing with AI, doing interesting stuff, AI and design thinking. And at the end of the day or in the afternoon, we'll probably gather at some special place. We are still trying to figure out what is the best for a nice get together and a nice gathering in the afternoon in Berlin. So most of the time when we did those things in September, the weather is nice. So usually you have some kind of sunny weather. I hope it's not as hot as it is today, but I would love to encourage a lot of you or all of you to come and join. And we have already, I think there are 15, we have 15. What is the numbers, Raika?
Yeah, we have 6 organizations plus D-School Potsdam and a total of 15 people coming in. So that's already, we are already a bunch.
Already.
Let's double that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe before we move to the members profiles and digital member certificates, one, two sentences about the GDTA Playing the Futures. The session which we prototyped together with Maria and her team at the previous to last Spotlight session. The idea is actually to generate a new format. So we have the Spotlight every month. We have the GDTA conference once a year. We have hopefully twice a year the Global Design Thinking Week or workshop together with 2 or several institutions. And the idea is to make use of the great, attractive way of approaching design thinking in a playful way, and also coming up with some impactful results with Playing the Future, and do this in a probably quarterly manner, together with partners who bring some special topics and challenges to this group, and have a half day. Maybe Maria, you can point on a little bit more, a half or 2 or 3 hour session, a global session online, making use of Playing the Future as a game, together with a partner. The first partner will be the Cradle to Cradle, the guys, the C2C guys who are based in Berlin, and D-School Potsdam did a project together with them in the last Global Design Thinking Week actually was cooperating with Cradle to Cradle. Maria, some words to the game, to the idea?
Well, actually, it's a very useful tool to update the participants of the idea generation session with current trends, with ideas for the future, so to help them generate ideas based on trends. And it gives a great opportunity to generate one team from 3 to 5 people generates for 45 means more than 100 ideas actually. It gives people an opportunity and a feeling for the future. And it would be great to work over the challenges with partner organizations and apply not only existing knowledge, but apply the creative energy of the participants and the current trends or specific trends for some industry, to merge this two islands and to create as many ideas as possible, very useful ideas for the future challenge. So it would be great to try it out with the Cradle to Cradle organization, and we are very much excited about the driving ideas. They move forward and they push forward to the world, and it would be great to collaborate with them also on creating a specific number of trends which they foresee and for the future to apply not only in C2C challenge but also for other organizations and spread it worldwide, because Cradle to Cradle trends are actually something which I see and my team regards as a fundamental for the future of the industry, future for the manufacturing processes. So it would be really very much exciting, and I hope the C2C will benefit, and also the participants, because they in a concentrate form they get to know something they didn't know before. Yeah, it's about a number of trends which foster creative process.
Thanks, Maria. And we are planning to do the first session in the first quarter of 2025. So we're just in the phase of preparing it. I head back to Raika now. Raika and Ferhat.
Yeah, I put you the link to our spotlight session with Maria and her team also in the chat if you want to have a look at that. If you couldn't make it, it'll give you also a good impression. Yes, there is one more thing regarding the conference. I will reach out to all of you via email after this. I'll just briefly give you a quick look at a prototype that I've come up with, but don't kill me, Farad, I know. It's not finished. But the idea is that during the conference, we would, of course, like to showcase all of the members and all of the member organizations. So we would like to update the member profiles and have like one kind of standardized template that we will print out and put up in a whole wall. And I will send out a PowerPoint with the template to you where you can just fill in maybe 1,000 characters about your design thinking activities, about your organization. And then we have an updated version of these member profiles at hand, and we'll also exhibit them at the conference. So I need your help filling those out. I'll send you an email this week. That's a heads up. And then I hand over straight to Farad.
Sure. Can you just share your screen to show the digital certificate?
Sure.
Perfect, yeah. So we've so each member's been given a physical certificate, and new members get given physical certificates. So we've kind of created a prototype for a digital certificate that lives on, that can be submitted to you and to be put on your website. So that will be rolled out. But the little incentive is that if you help Raika by giving her your profiles, you'll get your digital certificate. That's it.
Is that coercion already? Well, handing over back to Uli, right?
Yeah, thanks a lot, and yeah, I encourage you to all of you to give your members' profile in the template. So now we are moving to the constitution and the board position. So we have another 7 minutes left until our new possible member, the Baker Institute at Lehigh University, will join. Maybe they are already joining, it looks like. So our constitution, all of you got the link. We have discussed it several times, and the key thing is that we want to continue now bringing the constitution to life, which means first of all to define or to set up the board positions. So the constitution says that we have 3 to 7 members of the GDTA or representatives of member institutions can be applying to be board members. And so it's not that we want to do this today, but Richard joined me in the discussion that we would love to encourage you to think of taking one of those board positions. And what we think would be good is that we have 5 continents represented through our members, and it would be good to have also the 5 continents represented. The other thing, it would be great if we have male and female representatives at a kind of similar ratio. The other thing is, so when to let you know what we think could be the workload is, I think it's a derivative. It's easy to make this because Richard, Peter and Ferhat, Raika and myself, we are kind of practicing that kind of headquarter thing already since quite a while, since several years now. And so we have our bi-weekly meetings. What I would think in the future, we would think that there's a monthly meeting of the board. Yeah. If necessary, also, more often, but I think that a monthly meeting would be good, and then you would have the opportunity to really shape the future of the Global Design Thinking Alliance in the next years. What we did is we were saying, let's separate the legal entity issue, where it's legally positioned. Let's separate that from the part of making the constitution or bring life to the constitution, and actually involve more people in decision processes and get the whole thing with a new momentum. Richard, you want to jump in here?
No, I think you've summarized it well. I think this is sort of an evolution of the GDTA and the structure of it. So, I wouldn't say we've got all the answers. I think this is the next iteration of trying to formalize it. And there'll be lessons learned going through the second phase, and we may do some tweaks along the way as well. So yeah, it's looking for those that'll be willing to be part of the next chapter and the next evolution. Not saying that everything's going to be cast in stone going forward.
Yeah. It's maybe also important to let you know that the HPI, which is currently supporting the HPI in general in Potsdam and in Cape Town, which is supporting the activities, also in the future is willing to support our activities. So for the next years, we are in discussion now with the leadership there, how that would feel, what amount of money they're willing to spend. In Potsdam, we are right now together with Falk and the team there. We are thinking about establishing a kind of, we call that in Potsdam an international board, a board where all the international activities of in terms of design thinking, which is on one hand the GDTA is a kind of umbrella institution, and also the Sugar Network, which is also steered from Potsdam, so that this is all combined in one international office. I will stay connected to the HPI, especially with that international office. Also, even if I'm retiring at the end of September officially as a professor, but I'll stay and a contractual base, also connected to the HPI, just to continuously support the activities of GDTA. So it is a good situation and to continuously further develop the GDTA towards a world organization of design thinking institutions. Any questions? Any ideas from your side? Any already decided person to jump on the board?
I like to actually, there's Nalin.
Yeah.
I like to.
Hello, Nalin. Yeah.
I like to actually volunteer as a regional coordinator for India. If that is what in the constitution.
Yeah, there is that kind of chapter thing which is a part of the constitution, to have regional chapters, and that needs to be formulated out, but it's generally there in the constitution. Yeah.
Got it. So that is something that I would be happy to actually take it forward. And
great to hear that. Yeah. Great to hear that. Yeah. Any others? So please just send an email to me, to Richard, to Raika, wherever you like, if you are interested, and then we start discussing that. The idea would be that we have an established board in September at the conference, and have people volunteering and do a formal election at that day, at our meeting at the 12th of September. And then, but before that, I would love to learn about some names, and I'm pretty sure we'll find, and rather 7 than 3 people. The more, the better. So we are now here. My church bells ringing here, indicating that we have now new guests to arrive here.
Yes, they're in the
From
waiting room.
the Baker Institute.
I will admit them.
Yeah. We have 2 people.
Lisa is joining as well.
Lisa is joining as well. So, wow, great. Yeah, Joanne, you know all those. You connected them.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for joining, Lisa and Tyler. So
thank you for having us.
Welcome here to the Global Design Thinking Alliance, our quarterly member chat, as we call it. And we have already spent about an hour here discussing topics from on our agenda here. And now we're very happy to welcome you to talk about the Baker Institute at Lehigh University and at Pennsylvania, and about your design thinking activities. Joanne brought us together, and I met Lisa, I think it's some years ago, at New York at one of our conferences. You were joining already, and I'm happy that you were continuously looking to stay in contact, and there's nice things to report on, and the stage is yours.
Thank you so much for that welcome. Joanne, hi. Haven't seen you for a while. Hello to everyone else whom I haven't met. I'll do a quick introduction and then turn it over to Tyler. So since we met last, my position has changed from the executive director of the Baker Institute at Lehigh to the Vice Provost for Entrepreneurship at Lehigh. So the Baker Institute is now one of the many programs that is umbrellaed by this new Office of Entrepreneurship. The relevance of that at this juncture is that while entrepreneurship is being adopted across the university in ways that is not limited to venture creation, it is allowing us an opportunity to embed design thinking in a much larger, more intentional way than we ever could have imagined before. So even the last time we met, when the Baker Institute was planning to, and Tyler will talk about this, create design thinking for innovation that would be available to all students. Since then, our landscape has changed significantly to provide a platform for us to be able to deliver this kind of learning and thinking to every student at Lehigh. So I'm going to turn it over to Tyler so he can illuminate the ways in which he is planning. And by the way, Baker is spearheading that effort at the university. And Tyler can talk to you about what that looks like from his perspective. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, or perhaps good morning to some of you. My name is Tyler Groft, as we kind of went through this. It's my pleasure and honor to really be here with you today to present Lehigh University's application, some of the things that we're doing specifically of interest to the Global Design Thinking Alliance. We believe that our participation in this organization is an important part of our journey as we continue to strive to ignite this passion and lifelong commitment to human-centered design and problem solving in every member of our community. Just for a brief kind of synopsis of our history, Lehigh is a private research university with 5 colleges and approximately 7,500 students, counting undergraduates and graduates. We're located in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, so that's right along the Lehigh River. To quote our alma mater, nestled on the breast of Old South Mountain. It's with easy access to both Philadelphia and New York City. It allows us to attract a wide array of scholars who are very diverse in their academic and extracurricular interests, which we all know is beneficial to any time that we're approaching a problem, specifically with applying the tenets of design thinking. Lehigh University boasts more than just the gorgeous, stunning landscapes and the bustling campus life that you see on the picture on this slide. We were founded in 1865 by an industrial philanthropist and entrepreneur, which means that really we've been in support of this innovative thinkers and doers mentality since our founding. In a way, the principles of design thinking have too, therefore, been embedded in the very fabric of our institution for nearly 200 years. Today, however, we continue to deliver on these experiences to equip all members of our community with the skills and knowledge necessary to identify and solve even the most challenging of problems that the world hasn't experienced yet, not only in the classroom, but beyond. This past year, actually, we had a unique opportunity. Our highest leaders across the university, one of whom is actually with us today, prioritized this inspiring the future makers. It's actually part of our newest strategic plan, where we are challenged, our entire community is challenged to make it new, make a difference, and of course, make it together. Which means, again, for those of us who were familiar with design thinking, as we reviewed the final document, we felt more empowered than ever to be able to propose new and exciting ideas for programs that would introduce every single member of the Lehigh community to this human-centered approach for problem solving that is design thinking. Again, Lisa just introduced herself, and I'll just formally introduce myself. I am now the director of the Baker Institute, following in the fearless footsteps of, following the footsteps of our fearless leader, Lisa Getzler, who has headed up this department for the past, in one way or another, for almost the past 20 years. It's a pleasure to be a part of this team. I'm newly on a part of it, and I'm interested in actually taking it in and forward to the next level to see just how big we can scale this pursuit. Just a very brief history of specifically design thinking at Lehigh University. This timeline just kind of highlights some of the key accomplishments of the Baker Institute over the past 15 or so years. Of course, starting in 2010, excuse me, the Baker Institute was actually established through an endowment, which obviously I hope that many of us from higher ed, we all recognize that that means we're not going anywhere anytime soon. As Lisa said, the Baker Institute is the one that is heading up the design thinking efforts as kind of a unifying body at Lehigh University underneath the Office of Entrepreneurship. And again, that Office of Entrepreneurship just means that again, we're here, we're definitely embedded and ingrained in the culture here at Lehigh University. Shortly after the Baker Institute was organized, multiple members of our team were introduced to the body of work being done at Stanford, across Europe, and around the world, that we all now know as design thinking. Since it has really been ingrained in everything and anything that we do. Every single one of our programs that I will mention, some of which are highlighted on this slide, are founded upon the idea that we believe in everything and anything that is design thinking oriented. And again, I just want to make sure to highlight that everyone is aware of the fact that while we are housed formally under the Office of Entrepreneurship, these opportunities are not just limited to any specific students that are pursuing any specific trajectory. It's available across all 5 colleges. It's available in extracurriculars. The Baker Institute is actually primarily an extracurricular program deliverer, service deliverer. So I just want to make sure that we're explicitly clear that this is not just limited for a small finite audience here at Lehigh, but it is in fact available to everyone and has been since we have been founded or organized. Some of the signature programs that we actually do offer to all of our students can be found here highlighted on this page. Today, the Baker Institute is exceptionally active across Lehigh's campus. We deliver programs of varying length and depth, what Lisa and I commonly refer to as dosage and duration. And we're trying to still fine tune and tweak the things that we are doing to discover exactly how we can have the best impact, right? The highest impact on our learners in the most efficient usage of our time and their time. And when I say learners, I do include our undergraduates, our graduates, our staff, and our faculty here at Lehigh. Some of our signature programs that are highlighted there at the left, Engineering 89 is a course that we actually teach, a 15-week long course where we spend intensively digging into the principles of design thinking. Every semester it enrolls anywhere approximately around 20 students. So it's not necessarily the highest quantity program right now, but in terms of its quality, it goes very deep and it is very thorough. Lehigh Silicon Valley has, again, foundations in our design thinking tenets. That is a week-long course. Eureka Venture Program is something that is kind of at the choice of the learner. So they actually get a chance to be much more learner directed, and it fits in and around any line of study, any field of study rather. Our hatchery, which I am currently in the middle of facilitating right now, is a 6-week summer intensive where we take everyone through 240 hours of deep thought and practice of design thinking to getting them to actually produce something that would classify or meet the definition of an innovation. And some things that we're excited for in the 2024-2025 school year there at the bottom, that design thinking for future makers, that's the piece that Lisa had mentioned, where we are aspiring to serve every single Lehigh learner, every single student, all 7,500 of them, in a meaningful experience and exposure to design thinking during their Lehigh career. In addition to that, we were recently awarded an NSF grant, a National Science Foundation grant, for accelerated research translation, where we will have the opportunity to actually deliver more purposeful commercialization efforts to our faculty, our graduate students, our PhDs, and our postdocs. So there will be a handful of other additional experiences in the realm of design thinking delivered to this audience as well. Additionally, there are some key partners that we have across the university, illustrating that, again, this is not limited to one college or one subset of our organization, but does in fact span the breadth of every single student across any interest here at Lehigh. And again, the key moment here that I want to focus on is since our organization was actually founded, again, 15 years ago, we were tapped. Oftentimes, we provided opportunities to anyone and everyone who wanted to pursue design thinking. We had a robust marketing strategy to actually try to appeal to people to get them to come into our doors. Since COVID-19 and since we've emerged from that global pandemic and we had the opportunity to actually examine our impact and how we can move forward, we thought it was time for us to instead try to engage every single Lehigh learner in a deep exploration of design thinking and provide it to them throughout their experience here, so that it's not just kind of a dabbling, but something that can be purposeful and meaningful and actually build upon itself as they move through their time with us. I'm recognizing I'm trying to be respectful of everyone's time, so I will move quickly through some of these slides, but I have tried to map out our future. And the key moment there is there at the top. We aspire to equip our learners with the skills and knowledge necessary to identify and solve problems we collectively as the human race will encounter. I know that everyone here is probably very aware of the fact that, college, higher education in general, is not necessarily equipped with the ability to just have our graduates enter the workforce and know how to do everything. Instead, it's for them to have the confidence to actually be able to approach these things using approaches or using perspectives and tools like design thinking, so that they can be prepared to identify and solve the problems that they will have to go through and reframe throughout their journey and their exploration. For me personally, the biggest goal by actually applying to the GDTA was I'm most excited about the opportunity to actually make a contribution, whether it is in the field of research or exchange of ideas, or even to, at times, the debate. Of course, I'm sure that all of you recognize I pulled this language directly from the GDTA About Us webpage. The mission aligns perfectly with everything that I personally, as the director of the Baker Institute, will now have the opportunity to explore and as we go forward, to build upon the work that has been done before us. So in kind of my closing here, I want to make sure that in alignment with our strategic direction, we want to make a difference, and we want to make it together, hopefully with each of you.
Thank you very much, Todd.
Of course.
Thanks a lot. And you see, there's a lot of applause here from all around, and also thanks to Lisa. So is there any direct question, remarks to the presentation from your side? I think it's really amazing what you're doing right now and what you did, and also looking into the future is great. The procedure is, since at none of those meetings here, all of our members are there. As you see, we have 24 people in the chat. We have a recording, and we give it after this meeting. We'll send the link also to the other members who were not here. And if we don't hear anything negative within the next 2 weeks, you will get an email from me. And I actually don't expect anything negative. Then you get an email that you are a member of the GDTA. But we have that procedure, that little procedure. So, but maybe there is a question, or there's some other things like this. Thumbs up, yeah, which I have seen and which are actually great. Sharon, yeah.
Yes, hi. No, first of all, congratulations on your presentation and all the work you have done. I think that's amazing. So congratulations on that. I just have one question. Have you measured any of the products, outcomes, skills, something that you have measured or assessed in all these courses or in these initiatives you have? And if so, what have been the results? That would be my question.
I'll just speak
Sure.
broadly across the measurement question. As a matter of fact, we have a meeting in about an hour today with the directors of all the programs of all the ways that we do deliver this kind of work, asking them that question: how are you measuring the success in implementing this kind of thinking and doing? Tyler can speak specifically to the course that he mentioned. But I will tell you that there isn't any program that we offer at Lehigh where we do not measure success in some way or another. In terms of design thinking across the board, what we have focused on is a student's ability to articulate the 5 steps and their value at the end of an experience versus at the beginning of an experience, and then qualitatively have looked at how have they progressed through their trajectory at Lehigh in terms of being an innovator themselves. So some of it is survey-based and some of it is actually in tracking the students and their progress. Tyler?
Yes, and I will echo a lot of many of the things that Lisa just expressed. Personally, and over the next few years, as we continue to measure and actually compare our results, some of the things that I'm looking for is the things that we can measure that are related to their creative confidence. So the work that was done by David and Tom Kelly that specifically measures their progress through guided mastery. As they're approaching these problems, how do they self-report on their confidence as they are afraid to get started or afraid of their taking the first step, being judged by their peers. Those are kind of ongoing surveys that are going to be delivered throughout our programs. Again, in addition to the strict content based things of can the students just recall the steps of the design thinking process, but can they also put it into practice? How much confidence do they have in their own ability? So that when they're sitting around a boardroom in the future, or sorry, a board table in a boardroom one day, or they have a job at their first employer, or they're potentially going out into business on their own, do they have the confidence to be able to do some of these things, at least again from their own point of self-reflection? While it's not empirical, I do think it is an important data point to measure and assess.
And one idea I'd like to float with this group is that in the world of assessment, when it comes to student learning and outcomes, specifically, a lot of the work that I've done here at Lehigh has been around discovering direct measurement tools. And so while surveying is something we use and sometimes the only way to get at how a student feels that they are doing, my approach to assessment is to always find direct measures. And to that extent, I would be very interested in working with folks in the GDTA to start to look at what are the direct measures that we could in fact articulate around design thinking and the assets that you embody once you've become a design thinker. So I'd sign up for starting that research.
Great. Thanks a lot. And even if we are running a little bit out of time, and I would love, I think the research is the right term now to hand over to Matt. And Matt is probably the only one who could be objecting because you were saying, oh, they're also in Pennsylvania, so they're too close by. They can't be a member of the GDTA, but I don't think so. that you were.
There's plenty of room to go around. We know Lehigh,
and I would actually, I would love to give you the last 10 minutes now, or actually it's not, it's less, because we promoted the conference already. and Matt wanted to share some of the results of the preliminary results of the data collection they did recently, and I think you will do that together with CJ. And
That's correct.
CJ Witherell.
Yep. Yep. So CJ's here. Just as a quick primer, you may recall at the GDTA conference we hosted here last October that we had we called it a camp on that Sunday. And CJ is one of our Rockstar grad students that was involved with that and has been looking through those data. Jess Mental, you may recall, is the one who coordinated that. She just had a baby last week, so she's out right now, but we'll turn it over to CJ to talk through some of the preliminary observations from that work.
Hi, thanks Matt for the introduction. In all honesty, I scheduled this out for like 20 minutes or so. I'm gonna go as fast as I can through the important information for you. So if it seems like I'm rushing, that's why. So as design thinkers, we all have a lot of experience working in teams, and we're probably all too familiar with factors like social loafing, groupthink, evaluation apprehension, ownership bias, things like that, that can cause teams to perform worse than the sum of their parts. By using dynamic real-time feedback, facilitators who act as a manager of a design team can effectively tackle those issues and promote an open communication environment and collaboration. We also know that trust or belief in the reliability of others helps with the development of shared mental models and also makes teams more successful. Psychological safety, or the shared belief that the team provides a safe environment for interpersonal risk-taking, facilitates the exchange of ideas and solutions toward a shared goal or objective. So putting all of these things together, the exact mechanisms by which trust and psychological safety are cultivated in design teams are not yet fully understood. So that interest drove the development of the following research questions. RQ1, how do the behaviors of the design facilitators predict the behavioral response of their team members? And how do the behaviors of design facilitators affect perceived levels of trust and psychological safety in their teams? So here's where the GDTA comes in. For this study, 33 participants were recruited from the last conference that took place in October, I believe, at the Pennsylvania State University. We split everybody up into 5 teams, and each team was given an expert facilitator with over 10 years of experience. And we gave everyone this design challenge to reimagine the learning experience for children engaging with the concept of addition for the first time. Here's the demographics of that study. We recorded teams going through the design thinking phases, ending with a low fidelity prototype. And we also surveyed perceptions of the facilitator and the team, specifically looking at measures of psychological safety and trust. Next, we immersed ourselves in over 15 hours of audio data, and through many iterations, we identified some common behaviors. Most of the definitions of these behaviors are fairly self-explanatory, but I want to point out verbal engagement on the bottom, which is engagement with the design task that doesn't fit into any of the above categories. So we applied that codebook to the participants and facilitators' behaviors throughout the entire design challenge, which resulted in a vector for all of the teams of over 6,000 behaviors, about half of which were facilitator behaviors. So diving into the first research question, here's what we found. Since we were interested in how participants respond to facilitator behaviors, we implemented a first-order Markov model, which tells us the probability of transitioning from a facilitator behavior to a participant response. The first-order model was right for us because it assumes that the probability of transitioning to the next state is only based on the current state. Which is suitable for us because it simplifies the model, just doing a one-to-one relationship, and captures the influence of facilitator behaviors on participant responses. So I'll be discussing all the transitions with a greater than 30% likelihood. So first we have facilitator verbal engagement to participant support. This suggests that participants value facilitators' contributions to the design task. A potential explanation for this observation is the influence of power dynamics. Participants may feel inclined to support their facilitators' contributions because of their authoritative role in the team based on expertise or their level as the leader. Next is facilitator verbal engagement to participant verbal engagement. This one is pretty intuitive, but it suggests that there's a reciprocal relationship and communication within the team, which fosters a collaborative environment during problem solving, and it also highlights the role of the facilitator and how influential they are in motivating the participants to contribute to the team's objectives. The transition between facilitator clarification and participant question underscores the facilitator's role in promoting comprehension within the team and reflects the participants' desire to resolve uncertainties. We looked back through the audio recordings, and it became clear that these interactions usually started with a participant question rather than a facilitator behavior. But the participant questions can serve as indicators that the team hasn't reached a shared mental model yet. And it highlights the facilitator's responsibility in fostering an environment conducive to open communication and ensuring that the participants feel safe enough to ask questions and seek that clarification that they desire. Finally, we have rapport building, which suggests that fostering rapport within the team is a mutual effort, and I'll talk about this a little bit more later. We also developed models for each of the teams individually so that we could look at the differences in behavior patterns between different facilitators. But on the whole, the models are very similar. We can see that Team 4's facilitator, for example, didn't have any challenge activities, so that one looks a little bit different. But overall, they look pretty similar, which tells us that facilitator-participant interactions in design workshops adhere to consistent patterns, which are effectively represented by the aggregate model. I also have it represented in a network transitions way, if your brain likes this better. It reveals a lot of the same information, so I'm not going to go into that too much, but feel free to take a photo. I can go back to it at the end. Now we'll go into RQ2. We use Spearman's rank to correlate the frequency of behaviors with ratings of trust and psychological safety. So starting with facilitator verbal engagement and team psych safety, the facilitator's active participation demonstrates a commitment to the team's success and a willingness to contribute on equal footing. This is interesting though, because typically as a manager, you're supposed to remain a bit separate from the team, but this indicates that people appreciate when the facilitator comes down to their level and participates. Contrary to previous research suggesting that psych safety can be enhanced through relationship or rapport building, this discrepancy suggests that it might be a little bit more complicated to develop psych safety than we initially anticipated. Reflective practices in design lead to more sophisticated design processes and create a dialogue in space for the team to reflect on their activities and dynamics. This result suggests that the environment may contribute to feelings of openness and freedom that enhance the team's ability to collaborate and innovate. This correlation here between directive behaviors and supportiveness suggests that the team perceived their facilitator as more supportive when they provided more direction and instructions. We can also see here that when the facilitator posed more questions, 3 of the pillars of trust were rated as lower. Those were professional competence, leadership ability, and communication effectiveness. On the flip side, this correlation here with rapport building indicates that rapport building helps with those activities and the perceptions of the coach. In conclusion, I hope that you take away the importance of understanding how your behaviors as a design facilitator affect your teams, and that you've considered how you can positively influence levels of trust and psychological safety that you develop in your teams. I'll be happy to answer any questions at this time, or I put my email up there, so feel free to use that as well.
Thanks a lot, CJ, also for that fast forward running through.
Yeah, we had a lot of requests. We'll find a way to disseminate this out, and I apologize for kind of the short technical nature of it, but it really is cool, interesting work.
Yeah, thanks. I will be presenting this at the IDTC conference at the end of August, and then the paper will be released after that as well.
Where is that conference? What place?
It's in DC.
It's the ASME International. It's a design engineering technical conference.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Great. Any questions? We are 4 minutes over, and some of you had to leave already. Maria has to leave, as I learned. Yeah.
Quick question from my side. Yeah, Matt, really cool. Any thoughts? What follow-on research that's come out of this?
I can
Yeah, you
answer
want
that
to
question
talk to
for
that,
you.
CJ? Go ahead.
Yeah. So my next study, I really want to look at the flip side. So we were looking at only verbal behaviors in this one. And I really want to be able to look at nonverbal behaviors as well, because as we know, a lot of communication isn't in just what we say, but it's how we do it and what we do with our body language and stuff. So I really want to get like a holistic view of how trust and psychological safety are developed in teams through the art of facilitation. And then sort of the long-term goal of my PhD research is to be able to develop an agent that can give like real-time feedback to facilitators or do some facilitation itself and really just try to get the most out of the intelligent designers that we have.
Yeah, one thing I'd add to that is that much of design thinking in practice, in particular from coaching, involves coaches that are actually pretty similar in many respects, right? You've got to be a little bit outgoing. You got to be able to think on your feet. You've got to be able to engage with people. So we have kind of this recipe for a design thinking coach. And some of the results seem to indicate that there are good things that we all bring, but there's also some behaviors that we bring that are counterproductive and that we actually would probably benefit, and this is no surprise, right, from having design thinking instructors who maybe aren't our typical mold or who aren't exactly like we all are, right?
Yeah, just quickly building on that because we're a bit behind time. CJ, wonderful, great presentation also with the time pressure that you got put on such a short notice. Just want to also connect like with you because also we did some studies and had 3 PhDs looking at video recordings of design thinking teamwork. And they were looking, one was looking at the verbal communication, one was looking at the nonverbal communication, and the other one was specifically looking at how, with the help of the coach, team solved conflict situations where they did agree in the first moment, so had different opinions on that. So I think that would be great. And then I would also love to follow up because it would be also of interest, not just to observe like how coaches are doing, but also play around with coaches' styles. Because you already pointed out that there were different coaches' styles present, so that this could be like literally also become a variable to study whether this more supportive style works better than compared to the one that critiques more. So I think that would be for me a very interesting follow-up research question.
Yeah, I love that. Any resources you have, I would be happy to look at. And yeah, I think we have a whole lot of really rich data to look into, and there are like so many ways that we can look at it to try to benefit how we work in teams. So yeah, thank you for that, and I'm excited to continue working on it.
I would like to add that I see a very practical and useful side from your research because it drives us to the next station when we're thinking about actually helping others and the philosophy of help. How might we help? What are the tools? What the instructions? What's the process of making valuable contribution? And as soon as facilitators help teams work, it comes that we do it intuitively and we do not have some books or instructions or courses on helping others. And it's really some kind of a mixture and some individual style of helping others better than other facilitators, you know, quality of professional and a competence model of those who help. So how might we help? Because we often would like to help, but we can't. And we see that we might be counterproductive while helping. And it actually is it's outbreaking. So you feel exhausted. You just wanted to help, but you made even worse. So it's some kind of a philosophy of help as a great work. Actually, we would like to get your paper to explore it a little bit more. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maria. And since we are moving towards the end now, actually, I'm really happy that our friends from France who were actually wanting to apply for being a member, they were probably too shocked yesterday from the European Championship, the soccer championship, that their team lost. So, but I'm happy that you were jumping in, Matt and CJ, and sharing your great research. And as I understand, you can share that already. Is that right? Or needs that some additional activities? You are presenting it at a conference.
Yeah, it's being presented at the end of August. So papers should be released very soon after that.
Okay, great.
We can get a little summary together
Thanks a lot.
for everybody.
Yeah, I could do that as well.
That would be great. Yeah. So
Then we can give you the weeds later, but yeah.
Good. Thanks a lot. Thanks to all of you for joining here at the Global Design Thinking Alliance gathering. And I hope to see a lot of you soon in September. Enjoy the summer. We have summer vacations coming up here pretty soon, and the semester is ending. And there is a big HPI Fest end of next week. Is it end of next week? Yes, it is end of next week. And so thanks to Raika for preparing everything, and to our friends in South Africa for being such a great support, also setting up the conference. And yeah, have a nice evening, night, afternoon, morning, whatever, wherever you are, and enjoy. Bye-bye. Tschüss. See you.
Bye.